I have been waiting to record this story. Waiting like y'all have no idea. I, for the past year and some change, have been living next to an absolute f***ing lunatic. Like, this man was a complete whack job. But now I can finally come forward and make this video. This actually is gonna probably end up being like a 2 to 3 part story time, because I'll get into that. It's because the crazy man in question is in jail. Yeah, I know. It's a doozy. Now, the story leading up to why I had to remain quiet, that's gonna definitely be saved for like part 2 or later on, because that is a much longer story. Also, that yo, this man was crazy. I just remembered that. It's because the story that I'm involved in happens like pretty recently, but I've been living here for about a year and he's like been weird. He's been weird since I f***ing got here. And I have I have so many stories about this f***ing weirdo. I have so many stories about this f***ing weirdo that I could not make before because I didn't want to say nothing. But now that he's actually away, I'm just gonna f***ing put it all out there. Boy oh boy. Boy oh boy. Okay, so the first crazy f***ing thing I remember this man doing, it was around this time last year. I was in my bathroom. I don't remember if I was doing my hair or my face routine for the night or something, and I was on FaceTime with my boyfriend at the time, and I was actually telling him about this crazy neighbor and his dog, and I had my window open. And that's kind of like, I live in a townhouse community, like with a cul-de-sac, like a townhouse cul-de-sac-ish. That's the best way I can explain it. So like, if I have my window open and anybody's outside at all, I can hear them. And so coincidentally, as I'm telling him about this weirdo and his dog, the dog we love the dog. It's the weirdo we don't like. I was telling him about this man and I start hearing arguing outside. I look outside, lo and behold, I see one of our neighbors, we'll just call him Red Truck Guy, because he got a big red truck and he loves to blast music at 6 a.m. He's really cool. He gives my family fresh fruits and vegetables like a lot. Anyways, I look out the window and it's Red Truck Guy, and ooh, I gotta give him a nickname. I don't even have a name for him. I'm gonna call him Kitten. So Kitten and Red Truck Guy are outside arguing at each other real bad. Like, and it gets to a point where I actually have to hang up the phone with the person I was on the phone with and go downstairs because my mom was on the front porch, and cause she be nosy. Because she be nosy as f***, and I knew I had to stand outside to make sure he didn't say anything to her. So they're arguing back and forth, and this man, first of all, this loon, he's saying like the craziest shit. He's calling this man slurs. He's cursing at him. He's getting his face and physically violent with him, and we couldn't like even tell if he was gonna do anything. And then when they're done arguing, this crazy man puts the dog in the house, gets in the car, and as he's reversing, he slams on the gas and almost hits this old man with the car, then shifts the gear mad fast and then zooms off. Bro, like, I can't even, I gotta like readjust. I can't even describe to you like how close he got to this man with the car. He didn't hit him, but like to see that shit, that's the first thing he did, and it's not the last. Like, that's actually only chronologically the first thing I can think of. He's done a lot more and a lot worse, like this other time. Now, I don't care who you are, I don't care how old you are, how strong you think you are, how tough you think you might be. Get yourself a Ring camera. Get yourself a motherfucking Ring camera. Hashtag not spawn. Because it'll show you some shit that you wouldn't have even thought of. Now, the catalyst of the story actually had absolutely nothing to do with him. He just inserted himself and then okay, I'm getting ahead of myself. So, one night, the Ring camera was going off with motion on our front porch, and it was actually a completely different neighbor who was on our front porch, and we didn't know what he was doing. But when my older sister did further investigation, she found out that he was taking a lighter from our porch, which in hindsight isn't too bad, but like, we are not the only ones on the block. At the time, to our left, there were two guys living there. One guy who was a very proud and open stoner and he knew he had lighters too. And then on our right was the psycho guy who was also constantly smoking outside, and they actually smoked together. So the fact that like he made a beeline to our porch to like rummage, it looked weird. It looked like he was stealing shit. And Big Sister J was not having that. One thing to know about my older sister J is that she is a certified crash out. She will crash out at some milk before she cries over it when it gets spilled. So of course, when she came across this footage of this man on our shit that she pays most of the rent for, yeah, no, she wasn't happy about that. So she marched herself over the very next morning, politely knocked on his door, asked him to step outside, and then proceeded to cuss him the out. For a minute. She was cussing him, so she was cussing him. And when she was done, dust her hands off, and then takes her ass to work, because that's what she does. Fast forward later in the day. Ooh, some very important context. So the psycho bitch next door, Kitten, he actually doesn't own the property. He actually doesn't pay for anything next door. The lovely owner of the property, or should I say, person who's paying for the rent, we'll call her Lolo. So Lo, she's the one who pays the rent. She's a lovely mother, and the crazy psycho bitch is her ex-partner, who she was doing a favor by letting stay there. She stayed there too, but like, I'll get into that later. So later on in that day, Jay was showing Lo the footage of her cussing out the one neighbor, and she sees Kitten walking their dog in the video, clear as day, like just in the background. Now, something unbeknownst to Jay when she was telling her this stuff was that apparently Lo and Kitten got into an argument because Lo asked him to stop being a lazy little baby and do some chores around the house. And Kitten was saying, oh, woe was me, my back still hurts from that fight I got into at work. I can't do anything. And then she sees him fine in this video of my sister cussing out neighbor number or whatever the fuck. And so she presses Kitten about it, and Kitten didn't like that at all. So he decided to do something about it, which was turn around and go off on my sister, the crash out that worked in a prison for a year. Yeah, no, that wasn't a good idea. But y'all gonna have to get that in part 2, because this audio is already long as fuck. I'm sorry. I'm not even halfway done. I'm not even a quarter done. Like, this man has been fucking running rampant. Like, running amok in our cute little cul-de-sac. And I have a plethora of shit to get through. Alright, but I'm gonna have to end it here for now. So if you like it, go crazy for it, please. Thank you.